right, welcome and thanks for joining me today. Let's talk. So, I got a friend. She's in a fairly new relationship, and she's basically, without her even knowing, is bringing in baggage from her previous relationships into this new relationship. And I think we all do this in some form or fashion. But based on the conversation we had, it is kind of holding her back from reaching the full potential in her new relationship. So she has some trust issues based on things that she's been through with her ex and some other dudes that she was with. But it is shaping the way that she is dealing with her new dude. And like I said, I think we all do this because I know when I first got into the relationship with my fiance, I had been through some things, some personal experiences, and those things kind of shape your personality, your beliefs, and then kind of also train you how to navigate in your relationship. And sometimes some of those tendencies are self defeating tendencies, right? So her real question was to me, like, how do I overcome, my past baggage, my past situations, and not allow it to block my blessing that I'm currently seeing right now? And I explained to her too, it was very difficult for me when I first got into my relationship, um, that things I had learned from my ex, they were triggers in my new relationship. And sometimes, you think of those things, you're like, oh, I'm on, like this, I got some game, I'm onto it. Now I know what this means. Not, no, you don't, because I could tell you one thing that used to be a key indicator, I guess you would say, is my dude, he used to put his phone face down, and it would always be like, "What are you hiding? Why is your phone face down?" So we all think, "Oh, that's something." Um, Automatically, they got something to hide. Who who calling you? Who texts you? Why your phone got to be face down, right? So when I got with my new dude, his phone for the most part would be face up, and then one day he had it face down, and my mind went a gazillion places. Honestly, I was thinking about all the things that I had, confronted in the past, questions I had. I guess brought up some things that, I thought were, weren't in this relationship, but now with that one incident created this whole scenario of things in my mind. Okay, and I'm gonna say in my mind because when it came to what it was nothing. He just like, oh, I just put my phone face down, baby. You have my passcode. You can go in here whenever you want to. I just wasn't expecting any calls or anything. And he was kind of like, what's wrong with you? You've really been hurt. You've really been through some stuff. And I felt like I was crazy. So I told her, unlike me, I didn't address that face on. I kind of was like, what the hell? And I myself was dealing with it without having a conversation and discussing, like, hey, in the past when I seen this, it meant this. And this is what usually ended up happening. He was actually the one that came asking, like, why you acting a little different? You good? And I'm like, man, and I had to be honest about it. But I think that honesty allowed us to grow in our relationship and to build trust where I had trust issues in the past. And, different relationship in my past, I didn't have his passcode, he didn't have mine. In this relationship, we have each other's passcode, and it really shows you that there is nothing to hide. And it helped to break down those walls that I had. And I told her, if you have good communication, you discuss, you can tackle those issues head on. Now, they are going to be tough conversations, they're going to be uncomfortable conversations, but it would lead to growth in the relationship. Those things, little things, can trigger a negative reaction because of things that we've been through in our past. But ultimately, if when you see those things that trigger you, and you have to have some self awareness as well too, having a conversation about them will allow you to grow in that relationship and to continue to grow. So those are things, key things that she can do to overcome these challenges. Now, what I will say, and I did tell her this as well too, is that it takes time. Nothing happens overnight. And so the same way you have these triggers that are coming up and you feel in a certain way and you're uneasy, the same way you have to give him a little time too to address those things after you've brought them up to you. It's not going to be perfect, but through the communication and conversation, that is how you ultimately get to a better place and get over that hump. So, trigger A happens. You go to your spouse, well, it ain't your spouse, you go to your boyfriend, you go to your fiance, new dude, somebody you're dating, whatever, and you tell him, hey, I seen that you did XYZ. For me, in the past, that meant this and that. It makes me uncomfortable, I feel uneasy, and it brings me to a place. And then that's when they have an opportunity to have a conversation with you. And someone who is interested in you and wants to be with you will engage in that conversation. Someone who's not is going to brush you off, call you crazy, look at you like you got a third eye. And that's one, like I guess, warning sign then is when you do bring this conversation to the individual you're with, that they are leaning into the conversation, actively listening, and want to be responsive to fix those things. So I can tell her, like I'm telling you guys now, is that when I did finally open up and explain, yo, when I see you do that, it makes me think that, dang, you probably got something to hide, and he was very forthcoming and said, honestly, I just put it face down. I didn't even put no thought into it. It made me realize, like, one, I'm overreacting. Two, I can't bring these things and put these things on him that someone else did to me. It's not his fault. He's not doing it. So why do I have this mistrust? And he said, you know what? Now that you made me aware of it, I'll be more conscious about having my phone face up because really, honestly, I don't have anything to hide, and nor do I want you to feel that I have anything to hide. He was receptive to the conversation and then actively made a decision himself too that I'm going to play a part in her getting over this and breaking down this and tackling this particular issue. And I hope you don't have a gazillion of them because then it does become a little frustrating at times. But those main ones, those big ones that put you in a dark place or take you back to a place you used to be and that you were uncomfortable or unhappy and, triggers these negative emotions and thoughts, I think they are worth a conversation. I think it's part of growth in the relationship. And if you do it consistently and your partner is receptive to it, from that you will flourish, right? So it comes down to like communication, of course, like we talked about, being patient with your partner, being patient with yourself. Because initially, you're going to have these instances where you don't feel comfortable to go and talk to them, and it's okay. You have to build up the courage to do so. And I have some rejection issues that took me a little longer, but once you overcome that and being patient with them while they're working towards solving this issue with you and being honest, with your partner and yourself and like we discussed, active listening. Hopefully your partner is turning in, and when I say turning in, actually give me that eye to eye contact and listening to what you're saying to understand the severity of the situations that you've been through in the past, right? So that you can grow from it. Um, that is what's going to be important for you to get over this hump. There are going to be some growing pains. It's not going to be easy, and she was like, "You're right. I got to do my part too, to be a participant in this relationship. Because if she continues, let's say this don't work out and she move on to the next one, these same issues will resurface. So it's best that you tackle them head on, so you don't have them same issues. You know, I encourage people to have open dialogue and communication, and ultimately that's going to lead to uncovering these issues, working through them, and growing. And I think that's what we all want, is to grow old with somebody on our rocking chairs, right? So it takes a little legwork in the beginning, but if you do it, it's going to be lifelong and it's going to be worth it. That's all I got for you today. All right.